presentation of Fox Sports.
We are the Fourth. We are South.
Atlanta Braves Spring Training Baseball on Fox Sports South is presented by Landmark Automotive Group. The skies have cleared in Central Florida, and we hope to have Braves and Astros baseball live from Champion Stadium. Nice crowd gathering on this Good Friday afternoon. Our second spring telecast just about ready to tip things off. Blessed Good Friday, everybody. Joe Simpson, Chip Carey, welcome back to the ballpark. Matt Whistler looked good last night in his brief stint in rotation. Today, we get our first look at Julio Teheran.
You know, both those guys, Whistler and Teheran, pitched their best baseball late in the season last year. And for Julio, it was a good stretch over an extended period of time from August to the end of the season. He had some troubles, but it seemed like, you know, his ERA was up last year because of 3 or 4 bad games where he gave up 8 runs or more, and that really inflated his ERA. But late in the year, he had, for example, the 4th best ERA in the National League in September, and was pitching into the 7th inning on a consistent basis over his last 6 starts. So he's hoping to carry that good work into the 2016 season, and so far here in spring training, he's looked very sharp.
Hopefully the Astros and Mother Nature will cooperate. Game 2 of our spring slate about to start. Julio Teheran on the mound. We'll get to the rest of the lineups in first pitch right after this. Far so good as far as the weather is concerned in Orlando today. It was a wet and windy night in Central Florida last night, and the forecast for much of this Easter weekend, unfortunately, appears to be about the same.
Yeah, we're hoping that it stays away long enough to get this game in today, but there's a forecast of some showers later in the afternoon. Right now, cloudy skies, but we're doing okay.
Indeed we are, as Julio Teheran and the Braves take the field here at Champion Stadium. They will oppose the Houston Astros, who made the playoffs over in the American League last year. Spark plug, of course, Jose Altuve, their second baseman. He'll be the DH today, with Jake Marisnick, Colby Rasmus, Carlos Gomez, the cleanup man in center. Castro, Duffy, John Singleton trying to win the first base job for them. Hits in the 7th spot. They are using the DH today. The Braves are not for today's game.
Yeah, and I think as you get closer to the start of the season, that's kind of an accepted agreement between both ball clubs, depending on what league they're in. Julio Teheran, 1-1, a 3.97 ERA so far in spring training in 3 starts. You see his numbers there. Giving up a few hits, but not many walks. And looking at his numbers from last year, one of the things that stood out to me were the home runs. He gave up 27 homers last year in 33 starts, but 18 of those were on the road. He pitched great at home at Turner Field, but on the road he really had most of his problems. As we talked about there, showed that graphic at the beginning of the broadcast. His numbers at the end of the year were more Julio Teheran-like. He will be the opening day starter. Let's hope he gets off to a good start and has another 200-inning season in him.
He's done that in back-to-back years for the Braves. The defense behind him today. It's a split squad day for Atlanta. There's another group playing over in Lakeland against the Tigers, and there's a big storyline in that game that we'll get to as the afternoon moves along. Jeff Francoeur gets the start in left here in Orlando today. Markakis in right, Michael Bourne in center. We'll get a look at Gordon Beckham at third, Nick Swisher at first, Tyler Flowers behind the plate, and Eric Ibar and Kelly Johnson are the men up the middle. So Brian Snitker has the lineup card here for the Braves against the Astros at Disney World. The Astros spring training site, 2 miles from here over in Kissimmee at Osceola County Stadium. That's going to change starting next year. They've got a beautiful new spring training facility that's being built down in the Palm Beaches area. They'll be sharing that with the Nationals starting next year. And here's Jose Altuve. He's the DH, having another good spring. No surprise, hitting over 300 for Houston. Pumps over a quick strike. The old adage is dynamite comes in small packages. You might have this guy as that saying's poster child. Altuve all of 5.5, 5.6. 200 hits again last season for Houston.
He has really made himself into a terrific offensive player and an all-star.
Julio Teheran just punched him out on 3 pitches.
Boy, slice and dice. Fastball, 2 sliders. Good start for Julio.
So here's Jake Marisnick. He's in right for the Astros. George Springer is their everyday right fielder when healthy. Marisnick was a valuable guy off the bench for them last year. I remember him as a Blue Jay, then a Marlin. Now he's an Astro.
He came up with Christian Yelich. They were supposed to be a 1-2 punch with the Marlins. Yelich is still a 1 punch.
Yes.
Marisnick now with Houston.
Popped up to right. Nick Markakis will gather that one in. And here's the second out. Hey, there's Colby Rasmus, another former Jay who found a home in Houston last year. One thing about this Astros team, they are really gifted with a terrific young outfield. Some have described it as having 3 center fielders at one time in the outfield for them.
And I think Colby Rasmus, who's a Georgia native, is a guy who probably like to bump his average up a little bit. He's got power. He had a good year numbers wise, except for his average. A lot of strikeouts. If he could cut down on those a little bit, he'd be that much better. But Houston's a good ball club. They were just 3 outs away from knocking off Kansas City in the playoffs.
Had a good breaking ball early. That's encouraging. A ball under strike. Yeah, the Astros led their division for 139 days last year. Faded a bit down the stretch. Made it as the wild card in the American League. Beat the Yankees in the 1-game shootout, and then As Joe said, fell to the Royals. Bouncer to the right side, in between, hop, handled easily, and the throw to first in time. Good first inning for Julio Teheran. He struck out Altuve to get things started. Here come the Braves at home in the first.
Braves.
The Atlanta lineup presented by managing skipper Brian Snitker. Today, Michael Bourne, Eric Ibar, the top two. Nick Markakis in right, Swisher, Tyler Flowers, Kelly Johnson, Jeff Francoeur hitting over 300 this spring. Gordon Beckham hits 8th, Julio Teheran 9th, and Dan Straley is the man on the mound for the Astros.
He's pitching for a spot in their bullpen, and he's running out of opportunities too. So anything he can show today will go a long way toward impressing his manager A.J. Hinch for one of those spots in their pen.
And he'll face former Astro Michael Bourne, who takes a little high. 1 ball, no strikes. Michael's knocked in 5 runs this spring. Talked with Kevin Seitzer about Michael's spring yesterday, and he said, you know what? It's a lot like September was for him. He leads the team in line drives. Unfortunately, last September for Michael, a lot of them were right at people. He hits this one a mile high toward right. Marisnik to the edge of the track is going to have room, and Bourne is out number 1. Here's the Astros defense. As we said, 3 center fielders in their left, center, and right field positions. They can really go get them. Duffy and Worth on the left side, John Singleton at first, Castro behind the plate. And he's going to have to be an Iron Man for Houston. They are really short on catching depth, we're told.
They're looking for some help. Max Stassi was supposed to be their automatic backup this year, but he's hurt. He'll be on the DL for a while. So they're scanning the waiver wires.
Eric Ibar bats for the first time. He's hitting over 300 this spring. 3 RBIs for him. And we touched on it last night. You really like the potential of the top 2 spots in this Braves lineup and the opportunities for RBIs for Freeman and Markakis with Inciarte and Ibar.
Yeah, it's going to be something the Braves haven't enjoyed for a while at the top. Inciarte's on-base numbers have been very good.
Makes the peg to first. And there's the first strikeout for Straley on the day. Quickly 2 out. That'll bring up Nick Markakis as we peek at today's Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. I made the comment last night. A guy like Nick, you don't worry about his spring numbers because of these regular season numbers.
He's going to put up numbers like this again, no matter what. And now that he's got his strength back and had a full season of workouts, off season of workouts, I expect it to be even better.
Yeah, I mean,
we all do.
You think about what Nick Markakis did offensively for the club last year, considering what he couldn't do. Pretty impressive. Really impressive. No, there wasn't a lot of power, but he was on base all the time, got his hits, scored a bunch of runs.
Well, I recall saying about Nick that I didn't think we had seen his best, and we probably wouldn't until this season, and I still feel that way. Talked to him quite a bit this morning. Nobody hit on the field because the field was so soaked from last night, so everybody was hitting in the cages, and I was talking to him about that, and he feels very good about where he is right now and where his swing is, the results notwithstanding.
Straley has been a strike-throwing machine in the first as well. He's ahead of Nick, all in 2 strikes. And that one right down Broadway, and Markakis was fooled. Straley with an impressive first. We're underway in Orlando. No score after 1.
I'm Julio Teran.
Yeah.
I'm from Colombia, and I like to smell good.
Yeah, same, just like that.
Yeah.
Well, that cracked me up when I heard that the first time this morning, just like it did everybody else. When asked to describe himself to the fans, I mean, that comes out first.
Yeah, does he hit? Well, yeah, he likes to pitch good, too, but does he have a go-to cologne? I know it's not Bartolo.
To pitch good, one must smell good.
Yes. Well, he's off to a flying start. 8 pitches in the first inning, including a strikeout of Jose Altuve, and now Carlos Gomez will go to work here in the second. The Astros didn't see the best of Mr. Gomez last year. He was banged up when he came over from Milwaukee. Hit .242 in 41 games with Houston. And he is right on top of the plate. We know he likes to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Yes, he does. Big swings. Big time player.
To short. He's got it. And Gomez is the first out. 4 up, 4 down for Julio to start. Jason Castro, the catcher, batting .280. We mentioned the catching depth situation for the Astros. They think they might have an in-house candidate to be Castro's backup on a very limited basis, and it's a name Braves fans know very well. That, of course, Evan Gattis. But Evan's not healthy yet. He's had a sports hernia operation that he's still recovering from. He's playing in some minor league games over in Kissimmee, and he will probably start the year on the disabled list for Houston. And that's going to really hurt their triples game, because without Evan Gattis,
He had 11 last year. 11 triples.
with what, have the outfielders fall down or something? What?
I know that's a spacious ballpark, but wow.
Pop fly fouling on play.
And further illustrate what you're talking about with their catching, he didn't catch at all last year. They didn't use him behind the plate even periodically. So mix him in 10 or 15 games behind the plate will certainly help Castro.
He takes a little high, 2 balls and a strike for Teheran. Interesting to see how Julio handles the lefties in the lineup for the Astros today. That one's bounced towards second. Should be easy for Kelly, who makes the play from the grass. And there's the second out. You mentioned the home road splits for Julio.
Yes.
The lefty-righty splits were also very, very noticeable. Lefties hit 300 against Julio last year.
And same with Whistler. I mean, the numbers against Whistler were kind of ugly for left-handed hitters. And that's why he's been working on the changeup. That's why Julio's got to have something, maybe sinking it down and away from the lefties a little more and get some ground balls like we're seeing today.
Yeah, he's gotten Rasmus and Castro to roll softly to second. So that's encouraging as Duffy takes high and tight.
His walks were up too. He cut down on them at the end of the year, but he had 73 walks in 200 innings. That's a lot for him. Boy, he looks sharp and working quickly.
Julio's last start came against the Yankees. Gave up 3 runs, 6 hits, and 4 1/3 innings. Once again, I'm sure the Braves would like to see him work 5 at least today. That depends on the pitch count. Through 8 in the first. And stayed high, 2-1 to Matt Duffy. Duffy in at third base today for Houston. Luis Valbuena's their everyday guy. Got him from the Cubs.
Oh, good pitch. Right where Tyler Flowers wanted it.
So 3-1 count. And that one's shot to the gap and left. Francoeur over quickly. And Duffy's going to try and make it second standing up. He was thinking double all the way. And Duffy doubles with 2 outs for the first Houston hit of the game.
3-1 count, fastball, and major league hitter who has some home runs this spring, and Duffy teed off on it.
And that'll bring up John Singleton. They have waited for this young man to have a shot to take over first base. Singleton hitting a .133 though here in Florida. A couple of homers, 6 RBIs. He tees off and fouls it straight back. Singleton was a Philly farmhand, if I remember correctly. He was. Came over from the Phillies with Jared Cozart, Josh Zeid for Hunter Pence. And last year, AAA, Singleton hit 22 homers.
He's getting a lot of playing time this spring. 45 at bats, and the same old problem for him: strikeouts, 16 of them.
Well, that the newfangled metrics way of looking at the game, strikeouts don't matter because of the home run potential. They are loaded up with guys who can hit it out of the ballpark. But Singleton's a lifetime 171 big league hitter. Beckham tried the one-handed, couldn't corral it, and a swing on the house for Singleton.
Probably be ruled an error. He should have caught this.
So 24-year-old Jonathan Singleton gets another crack at Julio. And it was an error on Beckham. Pick off play. They got it.
That'll make Beckham feel a little better. Julio last year 5 pickoffs. That was number 2 among all right-handed pitchers.
And that erases an Astros threat in a scoreless second.
How fast is it?
Inning. Nick Swisher lead off for the Braves. Nice pickoff play by Julio a moment ago.
Great timing play with Eric Ibar. Well done. And again, not just first base where Julio's quick. That was a good spin.
So it'll be Swisher, Flowers, and Kelly Johnson for Atlanta. And Swisher hitting .294 this spring for the Braves. Nick, of course, still has a year remaining on his big contract that he had with the Indians. We'll see if he sticks with the club when the bell rings in Atlanta against the Nationals.
It is a guaranteed contract for $15 million. Is that right?
That sounds right.
So the story is that the Braves have shopped him around and offered to perhaps pick up some of that contract for anyone who was interested, but so far nothing's happened.
46 games with the Braves last year. Swisher hit .195, did hit 4 homers. And Straley's got the strikeout ball working. He struck out 3 straight Atlanta hitters. Nice way to make a case for a 25-man roster for this young writer.
Yeah, you mentioned Valbuena as a normal third baseman and came from the Cubs. So did Straley in the deal for Dexter Fowler. And Straley went 10-9 last year at AAA.
So Tyler Flowers is the batter. Happy homecoming for Tyler. Came up in the Braves system, then was traded to the White Sox. Now back in Atlanta. He and A.J. Przinsky will share the catching duties, and I'm sure for Tyler it's indeed a comfortable homecoming. So many familiar faces on this Braves team, including his former teammate A.J.
Yeah, there's a White Sox flavor with Flowers, A.J., Beckham, even Bonifacio last year.
Popped up into shallow left. Rasmus comes galloping in. He is there. There's the second out. Well, Mother Nature interrupted our game last night, but it didn't interrupt a terrific performance by Matt Whistler. Matt's looked good all spring. He'll have another tune-up or two before we get set for the Nationals, and Matt's going to join us down in the dugout in the next half inning. So look forward to that. I hope you'll stay tuned as Kelly Johnson digs in. And he fouls it away. Strike one for Kelly.
I asked Kelly today, I said, at this stage of your career, is there anything you come to camp to work on or do differently? And he said, no, actually, it's more of the opposite of getting in a routine. He thought last year he had a really good, solid season because he worked to stay in a routine every day, doing his work the same every day. And he said, I'm trying to do that again this spring.
And then wouldn't you know it, when you get into a routine, you find yourself getting traded to a new ball club.
Yeah, right.
Which totally messes up your routine. But boy, what a great acquisition he and Juan Uribe proved to be for the New York Mets.
And he said it was a little harder in New York routine-wise because there wasn't anything predictable about his playing time in terms of a platoon, for example. But he said he enjoyed his time there and liked Terry Collins and certainly was thrilled to be able to participate in the World Series.
First deep count for Straley. Kelly Johnson ahead, 3 balls and a strike. Kelly had a 14 home run year last year between Atlanta and New York. This one's popped up. Shift on. Long run. Can Duffy get there near the dugout? He won't. And the fans will battle for our first souvenir of the day.
From Straley's standpoint of trying to make an impression, I'd say he's doing that already, but nothing in his first 4 outings this year would indicate you would see something like you're seeing today. 1 inning, 2 runs, 2 innings, 3 runs, 3 innings, 2 runs. He's given up runs in all 4 of his outings prior to today.
Play foul for Kelly Johnson. Well, you got to figure the Astros rotation is going to be a very tough one to crack. As we showed you on that graphic, terrific team ERA last year, led by Dallas Keuchel, the reigning Cy Young Award winner, who was unbeaten at home last year. And they added Doug Fister. Kelly Johnson's the first Braves base runner. He coaxes a 2-out walk. And that'll bring up Jeff Francoeur. So where does Frenchie fit in?
Well, he's kind of making space for himself to fit in. He's having a good spring. See his numbers from last year with Philadelphia, where he was number 2 on the pinch hit list in the National League. Played in 119 games for the Phillies. And he's having a solid spring.
308 average with a homer.
Yeah, and you think of Jeff, you think of right fielder because of his arm, but the Braves have had him in center. He's playing left today, and that's something that he's adapting to in terms of just being a versatile outfielder at any of the 3 spots.
1 ball, no strikes. Sharply hit towards short. And flipped to second in time. Will retire Kelly Johnson. Francoeur hit it hard, but a nice play at short sends us to inning number 3. For the third inning and time for today's in-game interview brought to you by our friends at Yellowwood. And there's the smiling face of young Matt Whistler, who pitched last night. Matt, congratulations. Tell us about how you felt your game went, although a rain-shortened game last night.
I thought it went pretty well for the rain-shortened game. I got my work in. Felt pretty good. Threw some sliders for a strike, which is a good thing for me. I got some small things I need to clean up, but overall, feeling pretty good right now.
I'm told, Matt, that one of the things that you wanted to focus on the offseason, work on, and then coming into spring training was your changeup. Tell us where that stands.
Yeah, changeup so far has been pretty good. I think right now my biggest thing is I need to get the ball back down in the zone a little bit more. Like the one to Howard last night that he popped up in the first inning, which is probably belt high. So I just kept trying to work it back down in the zone, just get a little more finish on it. But it's coming along. It's been a lot more consistent this spring, and I haven't been thinking about it, which has been nice. When I throw it in the game, I haven't tried to manipulate it and make it move. So. It's just getting the ball right back down in the zone where it needs to be.
So the old Nuke LaLoosh theory, don't think, just throw. That's how the changeup
pretty much,
working, right?
Yep, no doubt.
Now, you worked with Tommy Glavine with the changeup,
I did, yeah.
Right? How did that process start? Did you call him? Did he call you?
Yeah, so I think, end of the season last year, he was doing one of our games with you guys or something and mentioned it. He was a phone call away, and so, my parents told me that, a couple other people did. So, I got his number from John Hart, reached out to him, and, texted him. We met I stayed in Atlanta for the offseason, so met up with him, I think in November. We had a cup of coffee and talked for a couple hours just about pitching and everything. And I kind of told him what I wanted to, work on this year and get better at. I mentioned the changeup to him, and his thought was, he told me about it, just focusing down in the zone. When he told me, because I told him what I was doing last year, I was coming across my body and sweeping it rather than just kind of throwing it. And he said to fix that, just have the catcher set up right down the middle, about 2 inches off the ground with his glove. And, you have to force yourself to get out front with it to get it there. So that's kind of what my mindset coming into, throwing this stuff. When I started throwing it, was just focus on it down in the zone. And he came out and watched me throw a bullpen, actually, to Tyler Flowers in Atlanta, I think in early January, just to kind of get off the mound for the first time. And it was good. It felt a lot better. I had a lot more feel for it, just working on it down in the zone rather than anything.
What a great resource for you guys, huh?
Yeah. No,
to have guys like Tommy or Andrew Jones, who's in camp, Chipper Jones. What a great thing for you guys. Yeah, it's awesome to have guys like that are willing to come back, everything. And, I talked to Smoltzy for a little bit. He was here for that 30 for 30 thing for MLB, and he told me to reach out at any time. So to have 2 guys like that and a guy like Roger as well, it's awesome to have 3 guys to work with.
Real big question. Did Tom Glavine break his perfect record and actually pick up a check?
Yeah, he picked up the $5 check of the company.
Hey, man,
you're a winner.
You should see the moths that fly out of that wallet when we're up in the booth. It's incredible. Hey, just talking to you, Matt, and seeing you around the clubhouse, albeit briefly yesterday and today, there's, I want to say swagger because it has a bad connotation to it, but I see a quiet confidence in you that maybe wasn't there at the beginning of your stint with the Braves last year. Do you feel like now you belong more and that you have the tools to be even more successful here?
Yeah, I feel good this year coming to camp. I put a lot of work in this offseason, talked to some guys. I think last year, September really helped me a lot. I think when I came up, I felt good. I was going after guys, and August hit. August was terrible. Kind of drained me mentally. Just kind of lost some, confidence in myself. And I got it back in September, though, and, kind of figured out what it's going to take for me to be successful up here. And, having that mindset coming to the spring has helped me a lot, just to go out there with the confidence and, the conviction in every pitch that I throw.
Yeah, what a great thing to finish the way you did those last 3 or 4 starts, knowing that you've got the stuff and the makeup to do it. And especially at that time of year where you're beginning to run out of gas a little bit, that's a really good sign.
Yeah, no, it was exciting. It helped me a ton coming in the offseason. If I'd have finished with a month like August, I'd have had a lot more doubts coming into this year. But, I feel pretty good where I'm at right now.
Yeah, and to do it against the teams you did that against is even more impressive. Most of them, if not all of them, are playoff teams, right?
I think so, yeah. The Mets, Blue Jays, Nationals.
Cardinals,
yeah. Cardinals last game of the year. So, yeah, it's a good way to end the season. My last 3 starts are probably the best I had all year.
1 ball, 2 strikes for Danny Wirth as Julio Teheran works in his 3rd inning.
I was making that comparison of you and Julio. He had his best work late in the year, too, and a great September. So hopefully both you guys can carry that right on into the start of this season. Yeah,
I'm hoping so. We all kind of finished strong last year. I think, people aren't really don't have too much respect for the rotation right now. I don't think we know what the 5 guys are going to be yet. So, I think obviously, I think we're going to come out and show people that we can still pitch. And I know we're kind of young, and Julio's going to have a bounce back year. And I feel good. Bud's going to have another bounce back year. And whoever the 2 other starters are, I think we can actually show some people that we got a team here.
Danny Worth rips a double over Frank Coors' head in left. Ball really jumps out that way. That's the second double for the Astros. And this one comes with 2 outs. And now you got to worry about Altuve, who again's the DH. Julio struck him out on 3 pitches.
You guys don't exactly get a break at the beginning of the year on your schedule either, Matt. I jump right in the fire with the Nationals and then the Cardinals.
Yeah, we got to come out guns blazing to be ready. I mean, the first game, I think Julio's taking the ball, so him probably against Scherzer, so that should be a good matchup. We kind of got a goofy schedule to start the year with the game off day, so just kind of get some work in between that. You know, I don't know exactly. I think I'm probably starting that Friday game against the Cardinals. So I mean, a team like the Cardinals is always good, so it's going to be a tough challenge.
1 ball, no strikes for Altuve. As we continue in the 3rd inning, chatting with our friend Matt Whistler, who pitched last night. So your next start, when's your next start down here, Matt?
Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday against Sarasota, at Sarasota, the night game. So I got to get my work in that game. I don't know what my pitch kind of thing is going to be, but I feel good going into it.
Well, congratulations on what you've done so far this spring. Appreciate your time with us, and good luck in Sarasota. We can't wait to get things started back in Atlanta.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Matt Whistler. Leads off the Atlanta 3rd. No score. Braves and Astros here at Champions Stadium. And Gordon Beckham looking for a bounce back year. You heard Matt Whistler talk about that with regards to Bud Norris and Julio Teheran. Offensive players look for bounce back years too, and that was Gordon's tally with the White Sox. Little pop into left that Rasmus will catch. 1 down. Dan Straley's looked pretty impressive. Hasn't allowed a hit yet. He's struck out 3 so far. He'll face his mound opponent, Julio Teheran.
Yeah, a variety of pitches, too. Some off-speed stuff, some fastballs up and into left-handed hitters.
Again, the Braves using the National League style of rules. The Astros using the DH. This is the time of spring training, too, where everybody starts to get a little antsy. We're 9-10 days away from opening day. And the Astros have a unique situation brewing after the game today. They are going to be playing some spring training games in Mexico. So after the ball game today, they'll jump on the bus, head to the airport, and fly down to Mexico City for a couple of exhibitions with the Padres.
That's really cool, and it's good for baseball exposure, but wouldn't it make more sense for 2 teams from Arizona to go to Mexico City and play? Huh? You're a little speechless on me.
First time ever. But yes.
It would. As Julio awaits a 1-2 pitch. Took it inside. 2-2 your count.
A short hop for the Padres, who they will play down there for a couple of days.
My guess is the ball will be jumping. I think Mexico City is like 7,000 feet above sea level. So I think Coors Field is bad. Hoping MLB brings in a whole lot of baseballs. As Julio pops out for the second out of the inning. And we go back to the top. And Michael Bourne. So don't forget, opening day, April 4th in Atlanta. 4 o'clock first pitch. Braves live at 2. Jerome Jurinovich, Brian Jordan, Matt Diaz, cast of thousands will get everybody fired up for first game of the year against the Nationals. It used to be Julio Teheran and Max Scherzer. Nationals will look very different this year, most notably in the manager's chair. Former Brave Dusty Baker is their skipper.
Just about a whole new staff too. They got Mike Maddox as the pitching coach. Davey Lopes is there now as a first base coach.
Nationals looking for a bounce back year. Everybody's fantasy pick to win the World Series last year, and obviously that didn't happen. Much has been said in similar tones about this Astros team. Sports Illustrated says they're going to win the World Series this year. We'll see if the SI cover jinx holds true in 2016. Another 3-up, 3-down inning for Straley with 4 strikeouts today. Opening week is almost here. Get your tickets now to see the Braves take on the Nationals and the St. Louis Cardinals. All fans who attend Friday and Saturday will get a 2016 magnetic schedule from our friends at Georgia Power. Experience the excitement of opening week with your Atlanta Braves. Get your tickets now at Braves.com/tickets or by phone 800-745-3000. Yeah, you mentioned it, Joe. That's not an easy start. The Nationals and the Cardinals right out of the chute.
And then go to Washington. So you got to have your game shoes on ready to go when the season starts.
Mentioned the Nationals will have a different look with Dusty Baker. Cardinals will have a different look without Jason Hayward, who spurned their offer to join the Cubs. As Jake Marisnick leads off the 4th inning. Julio Teheran's been very impressive. He's surrendered a couple of doubles. Picked a runner off. And a big in right off Marisnick's bat. And he's got a leadoff single to start inning number 4. Mentioned Matt Whistler and his work with Tommy Glavine a moment ago. Hope Tommy's watching the ball game today because it's a very special day for Mr. Glavine. Number 50.
Wow. He doesn't look 50 there.
No, he does not.
50. You know, I don't know about you, but I thought he was showing his age a little bit last year.
Yeah. Yep. First the pitch to Colby Rasmus. When he went in the press room and started asking for the senior citizens discount from Moses, you knew that the man with the scythe was stepping a little closer.
Yeah, he wasn't talking about AA and AAA baseball. He was talking about AARP.
Tommy, happy birthday. Tommy will be working with us at home again this year. Looking forward to that. As Marisnick's running. Pitch, a strike, throw to second. Is a little late. So Marisnick with a stolen base. Houston's been running this spring. That's their 17th steal as a team. And for Marisnick, his third. That leads the club. And an RBI chance for Colby Rasmus. You know, it's funny when you see this Houston ball club and you compare where they stand now to where the Braves stand now. I think it's an interesting conversation to have because we all know how badly things were going in Houston for a long period of time, and that was by design. 100 lost seasons. They stockpiled #1 draft picks. They got Correa, they got Apple, excuse me. George Springer came along. And in the last 2 years, they've gone from 51 wins to 86 wins. And, of course, the playoffs. We don't know if the Braves track will be as fast or as successful, but it seems to me interesting that the Braves, the Phillies, and a lot of other clubs are now following the Houston Astros model to build their Major League Ball club.
Yeah, very similar. I think the Braves' efforts along those lines will be faster than what the Astros experienced.
Oh, time granted. Toronto didn't see.
So I think it'll be a little more accelerated than Houston's.
But now the Astros have to deal with what the Braves dealt with starting in 1991, and that's not just being successful, but the expectation of being successful, and still a very young team.
One of the things for teams like Houston who have fought their way back up to this level is that now with so many good young players, you talked about their outfield, and then got to start with Carlos Correa at shortstop too, and what an outstanding player he is, Rookie of the Year, is that now you can go out and find 1 or 2 players. Good pitch there for a big strikeout. 1 or 2 players off the free agent market now that will complement the rest of your ball club. In the case of the Astros, it was a trade to get a closer, and a good one in Ken Giles from the Phillies. Great pickup.
Yeah. Someone wrote, and I think it was Jason Stark, how differently do teams value closers now? You trade 5 players for 2. And Ken Giles, a strikeout relief pitcher that we saw a lot with the Phillies. As Gomez fouled it away. Almost got hit. No balls at a strike. Julio's got a lot of ground outs. He's taken care of the lefties so far in the game. Very sharp to this point with 3 strikeouts. He's scattered 3 hits.
We're about to see a big swing right here if there's anything close.
.94-mile-an-hour fastball fouled straight back. It's 0-2. So what a rivalry the Astros have in their division. The Astros and the Texas Rangers, which is exactly what baseball wanted to see when they moved Houston over to the American League. Texas surged at the finish, swiped away the division title. Houston made the playoffs as a wild card. How about you? I miss going there.
Yeah, me too.
Loved going to Houston. Minute Maid Park. Good slider all day today. And a couple of strikeouts back-to-back after the Marisnick single and steal. But this is Houston baseball. When they connect, they do a lot of damage. When they don't, they strike out a ton. And here's Castro with 2 outs now, still scoreless. He was one of the lefties that rolled softly out to Kelly Johnson at second today.
Whistler last night had a good fastball, topped out at 94. Julio's had a couple of 93s and 94s today. Balls coming out of their hands beautifully.
In the air toward Bourne in center, and he'll make the grab. Julio pitches around a leadoff hit. 4 scoreless innings for Tehran. We'll see if the Braves can break through when we come back. Playing all the right notes in his first 4 innings today. He's shut out the Astros on 50 pitches on Tom Glavine's birthday today.
From Bartolo Colon. How about that? Worldwide, he's big. He's big worldwide.
I wonder if Tommy will...
Bartolo, that is. But...
I wonder if Tommy will get the mullet, bring the mullet back for his 51st.
I'd love that. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You know, he was beginning to eat right last year. He was trying to eat the right stuff and work out. I don't know about working out, but he was trying to eat right anyway. So hopefully he was able to maintain that svelte look over the winter time. 50.
Welcome to the club, Tommy, as Eric Ibar leads things off here in the Braves' 4th. Dan Straley is the man on the mound for the Astros. He's looked very good, too. He has 4 strikeouts and hasn't given up a hit yet. First of his strikeout victims was Ibar back in the opening inning. And foul back. 1 ball, 1 strike. I think it's safe to say that Ibar is a much more advanced offensive player than Andrelton Simmons.
I want to give you a player. I mean, he's a switch hitter, and this other player was right-handed only. But think about Edgar Renteria.
Sharply hit. Nice diving play at second. And Ibar robbed for the first out. Sclafani with a terrific play to his left.
Remember how good Renteria was at hitting behind runners, going the other way, hitting and running, whatever. Ibar's out of that same cut from both sides of the plate.
And you talked about that last night. The Braves have been looking ever since Michael Bourne left for a true leadoff hitter. I think their search for a true number 2 hitter was just as fruitless.
Right.
Looks like they've got that solved right now as Nick Markakis digs in. And out of play, foul for a quick strike. So again, you look at the top of the order. Inciarte, Ibar, Freeman, then Markakis perhaps against a right-hander, Adonis Garcia against a lefty, This one's blooped into shallow left. Rasmus had Markakis played that way, and there's the second out.
Well, some good defense there. Good defensive placement.
And here's Swisher. And struck out his first time up.
Yeah, I'd say if you're trying to make a ball club as a reliever to start a game and throw 4 hitless innings, as Straley's 1 out away from doing it, that'd be pretty impressive.
And the Astros rotation looks to be pretty much set. Keuchel, McCullers, Fires, Feldman, Colin McHugh, and Doug Fister. That's 6 guys for 5 spots. That's pretty salty.
Fister might have been a nice pickup for him.
Their big ticket acquisition was the man at the end of the game, and that's Ken Giles, who I'll never forget what Chipper Jones said about guys late in the ball game in postseason play. You need a man with strikeout stuff. And that was what the Astros didn't really have a lot of. They had a very good bullpen, but they gave up a lot of contact. Giles is a strikeout power closer. Two quick strikes for Swisher. Ooh, just missed.
Straley wanted it. He's out of Springfield, Oregon.
Golf towards center, and Gomez makes the play. Straley has opened some eyes for hitless innings. His duel with Tehran continues a champion. Excellent pitching, the story so far in Orlando today. 4 scoreless innings between the Braves and the Astros. As we talked about at the start of our telecast today, there's another big pitching story brewing over in Lakeland today. It's no secret the Braves have really not decided much beyond the first 3 spots in their rotation this spring. Tehran, Whistler, and Bud Norris, who's been signed to a deal. There are still some candidates vying for the 2 remaining spots in rotation for Atlanta, and one of them is John Gant, whom you might recall was acquired from the Mets last year in the Kelly Johnson and Juan Uribe deals. And Gant was asked to go to Lakeland and start today's game. That was not the original plan. It was Ryan Weber's turn to pitch against the Tigers in the split squad game. But Gant Joe's had a terrific run this spring, and he's getting an extended look against Detroit.
Again, he's forced his way into this spot where they want to see more of him. So instead of working out of the bullpen in a game, in a split squad game, they're going to start him against a good lineup. see how he does a good hitting lineup. And boy, Julio continues to use all his pitches. Really sharp for him today. 5 strikeouts for him. But for John Gant, near the numbers last year, 10-5, 3.08 ERA, 3 walks, and an earned run. He's got an unusual delivery. He has 2 leg kicks. He picks his left foot up. He's right-handed, picks his left foot up, puts it back down, and then goes into his regular leg kick and a windup. Very unusual.
Here's John Singleton. Shift on for him. Gretchen Caney, our AD, tells us that all of the outs for Gant so far in Lakeland have been ground outs against that Tiger lineup. And how important is that start for Gant? Well, Roger McDowell is there, Chipper Jones is there, Freddie Gonzalez is there, and I'm guessing John Hart and John Capolella are over there evaluating that performance as well.
Yeah, I believe they are all over there.
So 2 quick outs for Tehran as Joe Sclafani, who made a fine diving play at second base, digs in. Ken Giles, by the way, is up and throwing in the Houston bullpen, so it might be 4 and out for Dan Straley today. He looked good. Oh, has Tehran. 5 strikeouts for Julio today.
And he's been sharp. His breaking stuff's been sharp. Good life on his fastball.
And the lefty batters, lefty and switch hit batters, 0 for 7.
Yeah, a couple of good 2-seamers that they've rolled over the top of. Gave up a leadoff double and then got a big strikeout of Rasmus.
Got 4 ground outs to second base by those Astro hitters. Terrific day to this point for Tehran, is quickly ahead of Sclafani, 2 strikes. This one, a soft pop up towards short. Ibar drifts out. He'll have plenty of room. And that retires the side. 5 scoreless for Tehran. Tyler Flowers, Kelly Johnson, and Jeff Francoeur coming up.
Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. And the Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine.
Bottom of the 5th inning for the Braves, who are locked in a scoreless tilt with the Astros. And another birthday card for Tommy Glavine.
Loving it.
Oh, but Tommy's absolutely catatonic with all these birthday greetings that are coming his way as we get our first look at the flamethrower Ken Giles. This was a big pickup for Houston. Many who followed the Astros thought that was the missing piece for what was a very good ball club last year. A guy that could just shut you down with a lot of heat.
70 innings, 87 strikeouts, a few walks mixed in there, and only 15 saves because they had Jonathan Papelbon finishing games for them before he was traded. Maybe Papelbon is a better word. But anyway, when he got his opportunity, made the most of it for a last place ball club last year.
Yeah, 15 out of 17 in saves with the Phillies. And I didn't realize this until I read it this morning, but for a man with 100 innings in the major leagues, he has the lowest recorded ERA in history for his career, 1.56. Bouncing ball back up the middle, and Sclafani knocked it down, and with the catcher running, had time. That ball was smoked. But Flowers is retired for the first out.
You may be wondering why he's in the game now. And typically in spring training, a manager will bring in his closer early just so he's facing major league hitters before there might be a wholesale change across the board in the lineup.
Kelly Johnson walked his first time up. He was the first Braves base runner of the day. He smacks another one right back up the middle. The Astros had him played perfectly for the second out. Nobody's up in the Braves bullpen, and with Julio Teheran's pitch count so manageable, I'm sure they'd like to send him out for a sixth inning. And the plan last night was for Jason Grilli to pitch. I'm guessing he'll pitch in today's game at some point. Francoeur hit it hard his first time up, bounced into a force play that ended the Braves' second. Talked a lot about Jeff and how he fits into the ball club. You've been on good teams, you've been on some not so good teams. Jeff brings an awful lot of intangibles too. Obviously we know him well from his early days in the big leagues as one of the baby Braves. But I found it interesting that the team we saw last night is already bemoaning the loss of Jeff Francoeur. The Phillies have horrible outfield depth problems. If he was with the Phillies, he'd probably be one of the regular players. He's trying to force his way onto this Braves roster.
Well, remember, the Phillies made a change in their general manager too, so the new GM perhaps didn't feel the same about Jeff as the previous GM. Maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. But one thing about Jeff, you know, he shows up ready to play every day.
Popped up in the air toward right, and no play. And Francoeur now a 2-2 count.
When you look around at the Braves' possibilities in terms of who could fill out some of the remaining spots on the roster, and I'm talking about position players, there are a lot of veteran players. There's not a lot of young guys. There's not any rookies that are vying for a spot. Those days are coming, but it's veteran guys who know how to play, have been through the mill, and who have good attitudes about wanting to play. Jeff certainly fits that mold.
Did it go? He did not. Giles thought Francoeur struck out. He was 3 or 4 steps toward the Astros dugout.
No, he got it stopped. His body got out in front. Kelly and Tyler both hit fastballs, good fastball hitters. Jeff's certainly a good fastball hitter, and he's seeing a steady diet of sliders. 98 on that heater.
Added time, though. Pop it straight back.
Well, that's one of the values that Jeff has coming off the bench, and the Braves are needing some right-handed pop off the bench, pinch hitting wise, that he comes off the bench swinging and he can turn anybody's fastball around.
And I liked your point you made earlier that Jeff could play all 3 spots in the outfield, as that one's golfed towards short. That retires the side. Giles got 3 ground outs, 3 hard hit balls, but still no runs after 5 in Orlando. High-speed action. Today's action starts with Julio Teheran.
What a good day he's had. He's going to go another inning, too. Next in one of his patented pickoffs, this one at second base. A couple of big strikeouts there after a leadoff double. But retiring lefties on ground outs and pop-ups. He's given up 3 hits and has not walked a batter.
Julio will start with the bottom of the Houston order. Worth, then the top, Altuve and Marisnick. And a quick strike for Worth, who doubled with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Good news over in Lakeland. From the offensive side of things, we understand Hector Olivares hit his first homer of the spring for the Braves, a 2-run shot against the Tigers. John Gant, the starting pitcher, first 3 innings for him. All the outs were on ground outs. We'll try to update his line as we continue against the Astros. Hanger, and Worth whacks it into center field. Long run. Francoeur can't get there. He plays it on a short hop. And Worth has another double. Julio hasn't been able to solve him yet. Worth keeps hitting where Francoeur's standing.
You're right. No matter which position he's playing, that was the worst breaking ball he's thrown today. Right, a big hanger.
So here's Altuve. Second chance for Altuve to drive in a run. His first crack came in the 3rd inning, but it came with 2 outs. Bouncing ball back to the mound. Altuve beside himself. He hit it sharply, but Julio with a terrific play speared it for the first out.
Julio does a lot to help himself. Not just in his ability to hold runners and pick them off, but to field his position. He's good on fielding bunts. He's not shy about holding runners. Nice play.
So we mentioned the versatility of Jeff Francoeur. You can say the same of Michael Bourne. He's now in left field. Francoeur's in center. As Jake Marisnick bats and takes a slider strike. Marisnick led off the 4th for Houston with a single, stole second, but then Rasmus and Gomez struck out. Castro lined out, and that took care of the first serious Houston threat. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Still life on his fastball. That was 94. It's up a little bit, but no signs of wearing down here in his 6th inning.
Off his thumbs, popped to second, and a double play. How about the fancy footwork of Kelly Johnson to double up Worth?
I mean, where did Worth think the ball was going? Good grief.
It's spring training for the base runners, too. Julio gets a pop-up double play, and he's through 6 scoreless. Braves fans, become an A-list member today and get multiple ticket options and exclusive benefits customized for your unique needs. Call now to secure the best seats for the final year at Turner Field and the inaugural season at SunTrust Park. Don't miss out on being an A-list member today. Go to Braves.com/A-list or call 404-577-9100. Jason Grilli with the short locks begins to loosen the bullpen. That must be an Achilles tendon thing. couple of changes for Houston defensively as Giles gets set for a second inning of work. I'll give you those in a moment as Gordon Beckham leads things off. Beckham flied out his first time up and a laser beam into the stands. Foul, strike one. Well, Julio Teheran has looked terrific today for the Braves. 6 innings, 65 pitches, Joe. 18 pitches out of the strike zone. That's it.
Take that every time, won't you?
A little pop into shallow right. Diving try. John Kemmer can't make the play, and the ball's by him down the right field line. And there is the first and added hit of the game. A bloop double off the bat of Gordon Beckham. Our producer Brian Woodrum was getting worried as you see the bloop. When your first 2 games of the season start with a rain out and a no-hitter, that would not be a good idea.
Matt Lipka was out on deck, but he's been called back, and Julio Teheran's going to hit for himself, maybe just to practice bunting here.
Let's see if Julio can get it down. That was an area where we thought the Braves were much improved last year as opposed to the 2014 season as a group.
Vastly improved.
Let's see if Julio can get back into third base. Tough guy to bunt against, though, I would think.
Absolutely it is. Giles still out there.
One ball, no strikes for Teheran. And he popped it in the air, and Singleton with a diving play at first took care of Julio Teheran. The best I ever saw at plays like that was another former Astro, Jeff Bagwell.
That guy with the Cubs you covered a while.
Mark Grace.
Mark Grace wasn't bad either.
So Giles will be taken down as A.J. Hinch will go to his bullpen. Tony Sipp, veteran left-hander, was the man loosening. He'll be the man coming on next with Bourne, Ibar, and Markakis coming up for Atlanta. Julio couldn't get down a bunt. Singleton with a fine play, and our scoreless duel continues. ATL goes to Washington to battle their rivals in D.C. on April 13th. You and 20 of your friends could win a catered party to watch the Braves and Hawks at an Atlanta Taco Mac. Round-trip transportation provided on the Fox Sports Fan Express. Enter now on foxsportssouth.com/Taco Mac. A little more work for Julio Teheran, it appears, today after 6 shutout innings.
We're told that he's going to go to the pen and 20 more pitches down there.
As Houston goes to the bullpen again, a youngster from Braves country, Tony Sipp, is on in relief.
Boy, what a year he had last year for these guys. Mostly in a setup role. A 1.99 ERA in 60 games.
Nice way to break in the first year of your 3-year contract. And a hot shot to short. Again, knocked down and pegged first in time. Takes care of Michael Bourne. And that sums up his September. Right?
It does. There's the Michael Bourne factor.
Well, they got the runner to third, but now there are 2 outs. Sips out of Moss Point, Mississippi. And he played baseball at Clemson. He was a pitcher, center fielder, and leadoff man. So, terrific athlete, it appears. Had the second best ERA among left-handed relievers in the American League last year with that 1.99 Joe mentioned. Only Zach Britton was better. And he'll turn Ibar around, who hits right-handed. 2 outs, scoreless game, and change-up strike.
Go ahead, Mikey. Maybe why Neil Cox, who was granted his release today by the Astros, maybe why Cox decided it was time to move on, knowing he wasn't going to get a lot of action late in the ball game with Sipp on the club.
Yeah, Neil Cox had given up just a couple of runs in 7+ innings this spring. As this one's hit toward the gap in right center. That one's going to get down and score the game's first run. Ibar brings home Beckham. He's going to try for 3. The throw high and late. Sipp backed it up. It's a triple, and the Braves have taken the lead.
I love it when teams overplay and play shallow and get burned by a Braves hitter like Ibar there.
And that's the ability you talked about last night. His ability and willingness to hit the ball the other way paid a big dividend for him.
And they had Kimmer in way too shallow, and he burned him right over the top.
So 1-0 Braves. They break through in the 6th inning to finish the Neil Cox story. He had a clause in his contract that if he wasn't going to be added to the active roster by tomorrow, that he could be released from that contract with Houston. And that apparently is the case. I wonder if that would be a guy the Braves take a look at, because let's be honest, the left-handed relief pitching so far this spring has been rather underwhelming.
Underwhelming is a good term.
The ball's at a strike for Markakis. That's a nice stop. And once again, there's apparently lightning in the area. Fans are being asked to make their way to the concourses. Players and umpires, just stay out there.
Yeah, that's what the players said today. It's like they're sitting the fans to cover, and we're standing out there in the middle of the open. What about us? And that's when Jeff Nelson called the game.
High hopper hit towards second, and that will retire the side. Braves cash in a Beckham bloop double against Ken Giles, and a triple by Eric Ibar gives Atlanta a lead heading to the 7th.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Season-ending injury. Sustained an
Well, there you
Achilles
see
injury.
what Jason Grilli went through late last year. Coming back from the Achilles injury that he suffered right before the All-Star break against the Rockies at Coors Field. And he's obviously a good swimmer and a Star Wars fan. Good to see him back out there, though, Joe.
Well, it is. After what he did for the Braves last year, his numbers were mighty impressive. 24 saves and 26 opportunities. Assumed that role after Craig Kimbrell was traded just prior to opening day. Just 10 walks, too, in 33 innings to go with 45 strikeouts.
Obviously, with Grilli, with Jim Johnson, and Arodys Vizcaíno, who was very, very effective. Freddie Gonzalez has a world of options to close out ball games. It's doubtful they're going to want to run Grilli out there 3 days in a row, but you have 2 other options to finish the game. I don't know if they're going to actually anoint a certified closer.
It's hard to do right now, especially the way Vizcaíno's pitching. He hasn't given up a run all spring and pitched great in the absence of Grilli at the end of the year. And let's face it, the last 2 months for the Braves were a real struggle to get to Vizcaíno. It was the 6th and 7th innings primarily that were giving the Braves a problem when they had a lead. So a little more depth this year, and getting to whomever's finishing will make them that much better when they do have a lead.
So Jason today is making his 3rd spring appearance. His first came against these Astros on St. Patrick's Day. Gave up a couple of runs in that one. Last outing was on the 20th against the Tigers. A hit in a scoreless inning. So Jason maybe still with a bit of rust, but he has said from the opening bell he vows to be ready for opening day. And he just lost Rasmus on 4 very close pitches. So Rasmus, who can fly, leads off with a walk. And that's how the 7th inning starts. Here's Gomez.
Jason's 39 years old. He's in great shape. He's worked hard to get back to where he is right now. Very debilitating injury. It's hard to come back from, and he's doing so in less than a year. That's a real challenge. But his arm looks very good. Like you said, a little rust, no question.
So pinch runner Tony Kemp takes over for Rasmus at first, as Gomez digs in with an 0-for-2 day against Julio Teheran. 1-0 Braves, a double and a triple in the bottom of the 6th inning to score the game's only run. Fly foul by Gomez. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's the Grilli velocity, 93 miles an hour. Told you earlier about John Gant and his start for the Braves against the Tigers. 3 scoreless innings was the last update. Hector Olivares hit a home run. Lakeland's about 40 miles or so from the ballpark here at Walt Disney World. They're in a rain delay. Well, it's just west, so bad weather's approaching. A little pop toward right. Markakis to his right. There's the first out.
Yeah, and looking at the radar, that's where it's coming from today, is from the west. It's a good breaking ball there.
So Castro will be the hitter. He's 0-for-2.
I have to have a chat with my pencils.
Really?
Yeah, no, they're not. They're still in spring training, too. Lead keeps breaking, and it's almost like they don't want to play. And we need to find out when the season starts which one wants to step up and be part of the action.
There you go. How about a 4-6-3? Catcher in the batter's box. And off the plate. Ball 1. I thought last year, of all the things that went right for the Braves, Grilly was certainly on that list. But he was sadly also on the list of the things that went wrong. I thought at the time of his injury that was really a catastrophic one for the Braves. Yep. The team at that point was 42-42, and in talking with John Hart and John Coppolella, in retrospect, they told us they were really sitting on the fence. Are we going to add to this team at the July 31st deadline? Because the Braves were within 4, 5, 6 games of a potential wild card spot at that time. And I think I said at the time in Denver, when he went down, it was a franchise-altering injury. Not only did you not have the ability to add to your club, you lost the ability to maybe move a guy who would have brought you a pretty impressive prospect in return.
It's a good point, too. And that was such a rough stretch right there. The Braves had lost a game in Milwaukee where they were on the verge of sweeping the Brewers, and then they go to Colorado and not only get swept in Colorado right before the break, but lose Jason. And everything kind of snowballed from there.
1 ball, 2 strikes. That buzzed the tower. Let's see if that sets up the outside corner for Grilly. 2-2. Weather permitting, we'll have the Mets tomorrow. We'll get our first look at the National League champions. Bud Norris is scheduled to pitch for the Braves. Jacob deGrom will go for New York. Joe and I will have that game for you. We'll have Easter Sunday off and then join you Monday night for our final spring telecast. Popped up out of play foul. So our thanks to our great crew, anchored by our producer Brian Woodrum, Mike Miller our director, Gretchen Caney our AD, Drew Jenkins our statistician. We will have a very busy season for you. 157 regular season games will air on Fox Sports Southeast this year.
Speedy's here too, running all the big shots.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Runner goes. Pitch high and tight. Flowers throws, short hops. No chance to get Kemp. Steals a base and represents the tying run. Now full count.
Extremely dark here.
And a gigantic thunderhead out beyond the right field fence. Kemp, by the way, another kid from Braves country. He's out of Franklin, Tennessee. Played college ball at Vanderbilt. Freshman of the year for the Commodores. In 2011, 5th round pick by the Astros 3 years ago. And a finalist for the Dick Howser Trophy. Little bloop into shallow left. Warren got there. Plays it on a hop. Throw toward the plate. Going to be close. Not in time. Ball gets away from Flowers. And a bloop hit by Castro brings home Kemp and ties the game at 1 apiece here in the 7th. Third RBI for Castro. The leadoff walk comes back to haunt Grilly.
Yeah, and he had him in a hole also. He got a hit in the count and couldn't put him away. Throw wasn't that far off the mark, but hit the runner.
So the Astros with a pinch runner, Eury Perez. Remember him?
Mm-hmm.
So Castro out of the game. Duffy, who's doubled, struck out. Has a chance to put Houston in front. Astros have had a good spring. They've won 14. They've lost 8. And rain begins to fall. It is getting dark in a hurry.
That's a scary cloud right there. Out beyond right field. That looks like one of those so-called wall clouds.
Wind going across now from right toward left.
It's either wall cloud or the mothership is hidden in there and
yeah,
coming in.
Cloud back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jim Johnson's up and throwing in the Braves bullpen. Might be a stretch to see him before we have a weather delay. Had a long one here last night. Seth Webster's up and throwing as well. Run on 5 hits for Houston, a run on 2 hits for the Braves today. Did he go? Oh yeah, he went around. Duffy is rung up. Couldn't stop a swing at that slider from Grilly, who has his first strikeout in the second out of the inning. Oh yeah. No John Singleton. No luck at all against Julio Teheran. Carved up the lefties this entire game. Singleton rolled out to second twice. Braves can't shift on him with a runner at second base in a tie game. So Ibar played almost right behind the second base bag. And Singleton had a good cut.
He appears to be in good shape. There are times where I've seen him and seem to be carrying a little excess, but this spring for him, he seems like it looks like he's worked hard in the winter to get ready for this opportunity.
Look at his AAA numbers. Pretty impressive hitter. As we mentioned, not as much luck at the big league level. No balls and a strike for Singleton, who again is just 24 years old. What's the biggest difference between the guys you feast on in AAA and the guys that you struggle against up here?
I think there's no let up when you get to this level. You might pick on a few guys down there that are struggling to hang on at that level. Up here, that's not the case. Day in, day out, there's no let up on what you got to face and deal with. Better command overall as well.
He missed the outside corner. Remember, he thought he had Rasmus struck out to start the inning. 4 straight off the plate. Turned into a leadoff walk in the Astros' first run. You see for really uncharacteristically high pitch count. About to make his 22nd pitch as that big dark cloud is about to move over the ballpark. Two and two. Scored their first run in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Astros have tied it up here in the 7th. And it's raining a little harder now. And that's off the plate. Jason doesn't have his command yet.
The drops are getting bigger. So a good pitch here would be welcomed by both sides.
Full count. And strike 3. Singleton 0 for 3. Houston cashes in a leadoff walk. Skies are opening. The tarp is coming out. We're tied at the stretch. Nationals and the St. Louis Cardinals, too. All fans in attendance on Friday and Saturday get a 2016 magnetic schedule from Georgia Power. Experience the excitement of opening week with your Atlanta Braves. Get your tickets at Braves.com or by calling 800-745-3000. Yogi Berra would say deja vu all over again. This is exactly the scene we had late last night. The skies have opened up. It is pouring here at Champion Stadium. We're going to have a long delay. If we have a delay at all, they may wipe this one out again and end up in a tie game at 1. But, Joe, that doesn't minimize the performance of Julio Teheran today. That was the story here in Orlando, and he looked terrific today.
I'm glad the rain and wind stayed away long enough for Julio to get his work in, because he was outstanding today. Has to give him a lot of confidence going forward, the way he handled this lineup for the Astros. And no walks, and had the strikeout pitch working. To all his pitches were working. A good sign for him today. But for this ballpark to go from day to night in a snap of a finger is pretty amazing.
Yeah. Welcome to Florida weather. That's the way things operate.
I'm looking at these palm trees out here just outside the stadium, and they're hurricane looking.
Well, it's not hurricane season yet, thankfully, but it is thunderstorm season. We've got another delay here in Orlando. Game tied 1-1. We'll see if the game will continue in just a little while. In the meantime, Joe and I will step aside. We'll send you to Atlanta Braves rebuilding, or building success, I should say. And then we'll have updates for you from Champion Stadium in Orlando. Chip Carey signing off for now. Enjoy the rain delay programming.